Justin, lithium prices are skyrocketing, not just a little bit. A lot of bit prices have tripled in recent months. Now, Justin, why should I be concerned about this? Why do I care?
This is bad news for the affordability of EVs. For years and years, seems like a decade now, we've been hearing the EV talking heads, like myself, talk about the importance of $100 per kilowatt hour battery prices. That's production costs right there.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk has talked about it, so have others. We're headed in the wrong direction. Lithium prices have spiked by 300 to 400% in just the past 6 months. So when you and I are talking about how the average EV cost right now is about $66,500, that does not yet include these most recent massive lithium spikes we're seeing. And what is needed for lithium-ion battery production? Well,
wait, let me guess. Lithium.
Yes, and other compounds such as graphite, which is also headed for a shortage. It's not looking good when it comes to the raw materials supply chains for EVs.
All right, now we have seen an incredible push from the U.S. government to say, hey, you want to buy an electric vehicle? You want to get our $7,500 tax incentive? Make that EV and that battery here in the United States or in one of our countries that we have a fair trade agreement with. Last time I checked, Justin, you got to keep me honest here. Most lithium's coming probably from China?
Yes, the most comes from China right now. In fact, about 60, estimates vary, between 55 and 62% of the world's lithium carbonate refining capability and mines come from China, even though Chile, which is one of our free trade partners, has the world's largest lithium reserves that are discovered so far. Keep in mind, there could be more reserves discovered. Australia is another big one. But yeah, about 60% of the world's lithium does originate in China right now.
Now, if we want to see better EV prices, that means likely we're going, and you want to get access to that $7,500 tax credit, we're going to see more and more infrastructure built here, or I guess we're going to be asking our friends in Chile to be mining more. I guess I'm just trying to fit two and two together. We've got spiking lithium prices, so that likely means that EVs in the near term are going to become more expensive because batteries will be more expensive. Then we have probably a long lead time before any of the infrastructure that's set up in, I don't know, the United States, Australia, Chile, other countries where
there's a big one in Canada.
Canada, thank you. Like, there's going to be some lead time there before production of lithium's like coming from those countries, which maybe would drive the prices down, or would drive the prices down because people at least get the tax credit. I'm just trying to see some light at the end of the tunnel here, and it's kind of hard to piece it together.
Yeah, well, where should we start? So the mining industry and automakers are kind of teaming together right now to try to get permitting processes accelerated, because up until this point, it can take between 4 and 7 years, in a worst case scenario, a decade, to get a new lithium mine producing lithium carbonate, which is the raw material used for battery production. So the good news is that there are new lithium mines announced for planning and blueprints and permitting processes in the United States, from Nevada to New Mexico, even one proposed in North Carolina. There's a massive one that will be 95% powered by clean green hydroelectric power. I should say clean blue hydroelectric power in Canada. So there's great mines on the way, right? And these mining companies are saying that they're doing their best to keep it as environmentally safe and responsible as possible. However, it's the permitting process, the design process, and setting up the refining capabilities that can take over 5 years. So if we're looking at lithium prices skyrocketing right now due to demand, I'm talking 3 to 4 times higher than they were 6 months ago. Where are we headed from here? It's probably not down.
And that was going to be my question. Is it a demand issue or a supply issue? And you mentioned 5 years for those mines to come online. You look at lithium prices over the past 5 years. Thanks for sharing the chart with me, Justin. We've seen a 5x in price,
yes,
not a 300%. I know this year alone we've seen that 300%, but we've seen an incredible increase, and that is not a result of, hey, we can't find more lithium to mine. That's because of demand, correct?
Yes, indeed. Now, I must also point out the demand aspect, because it kind of ties all together here. China, where most of this lithium is mined, has had EV sales skyrocket domestically. So a lot of this lithium that they're producing domestically, they're using domestically. That makes it harder to ship these lithium carbonate shipments worldwide to the rest of the automakers, right? So demand globally for EVs is increasing, but it's increasing a lot more than average in China, and that's affecting how this is distributed on the wholesale markets. Also, you've got to think about the ways that lithium is being incorporated into the newest battery technologies. So let's take a step back. Demand for EVs is skyrocketing, but the latest battery technologies that engineers have put their brightest minds to work on has been leading to more energy-dense EV battery capabilities, more energy-dense battery cells. This means that as EVs are in more and more demand, you would think that you would need less lithium per battery cell. But right now, the demand for EVs is still far outpacing what we're seeing on the engineering side, the innovation side. And for the near future, we've got CEOs like, what's his name? Carlos Tavares from Stellantis.
Yep.
Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
He is saying that by 2027, there will be a global shortage of lithium. And then as a result, a global shortage of batteries. We've heard RJ Scaringe from Rivian say it as well. It looks like it's more than likely going to be a bigger problem 5 years from now than it is today.
Buying a car? Let the team at YAA help. Use the code FALL20 and save 20% on a YAA membership, or use FALL100 and save $100 on an extended warranty. It's still a problem today, though, because you've seen lithium prices go up 500% in 5 years. It's kind of maybe like the tip of the iceberg. Like, you can see above ground, like, what's happening. That's the past 5 years and what impact it's had on prices. And it seems like if all this demand really does come to fruition, it's that submerged part of the iceberg that we need to be looking at and saying, oh, crap, we don't have the capacity necessarily to produce that much for all those batteries.
Yeah, I got to tell you what scares me, Zach, is... You know, we've talked about how EV prices have increased over the past few years. The average EV price has gone from about $55,000 to nearly $67,000. We've seen raw material costs that go into EV production go up from about $3,500 per EV on average to north of $8,000 on average per EV. However, all of those numbers that I just mentioned, that was before the latest spike. You mentioned that lithium wholesale prices had gone up by like 5x in the past, 5 years?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 3x hike in the past 6 months. None of the numbers I just mentioned include that. So I see a lot of upward movement in EV prices. That is not good for the consumer, but right now I don't see a way around it.